My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Hearthstone Arena. Score is currently 0-0. Excellent, I have set that up correctly. Booyakasha! This is going to release the day after Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to each and every single one of you. You're all my Valentine. I love you. Go on, bring it in. No? Alright. Apparently that's not how this works. Cameras don't work like that, I've been told. Okay, so, outside of throwing runs, I mean, I've got Slowpoke by Wastel, which is you can't play anything on turns 1 or 2. Paladin with a Secret Twist, which is Spurker Danny's request. I don't have a Paladin offered. I've got a Shaman request by Jamie Sauce, and I've got a Hunter request by Mr. Trumpet. None of those appear to me currently, except for the throwing run Slowpoke, but I can't do a throwing run yet. I just don't have the money for it. If I throw, that's, like, I can have one arena after that, and unless I go well in that arena, I'm just fucked for a while. So, thinking about it, none of these are offered to me. By the way, if your request wasn't on that list, I've just lost it. Like, I straight up don't have it. I was looking through all the comments and those were all the ones I could find since the last request that I'd fulfilled. Okay. Rogue? I feel like there's more interesting cards in Rogue since GVG than there are in the other two. Nerubian Egg I don't have any activators for yet, so there's no reason for. Imp Master is pretty good distribution of stats. I mean, like, it's a 2/5 on the turn it comes out for 3 mana, right? Then it can generate more value further on. Kinda cool, but I think the Knife Juggler is the most solid one that I can get immediately. Well, both of these are shit. The Shield Bearer isn't going to stop anything for long enough for me to actually get value. Vanish affects me as well as my opponent, so it's too expensive to be super useful. And Tinker's Sharp Sword is the only actually good one. Oh, fuck me. These are all abused. Oh, so good. Mechanical Yeti. So both players get a spare part. That's cool, but it's got the Yeti stats, so it's a 4/5 for 4. Fuck yes. A 4/6 for 5, but we're gonna have a weapon out most of the time, and we can generate a weapon for free, so the Spiteful Smith has super high value for us, because we can have a 3 damage dagger at any point. It's basically like a free fucking deadly poison if we play it correctly. And then Haunted Creeper is one of the strongest early game, and if we, Tinker's Sharp Sword it trades perfectly well. It combos with Knife Juggler in such a way that you play the Haunted Creeper, you trade it out after you play the Knife Juggler, and then you get 2 Spectral Daggers coming out. I think the Haunted Creeper is going to be more important because of how aggressive Arena is recently. And when I draft against aggression, I have been doing better in Arena by doing so. So, I'm going to do the Scarlet Crusader there. That one's pretty simple. I'm just going to quickly shut that down on that side. Excellent. So the Scarlet Crusader was the only one of those that had any value. Another Tinker's Sharp Sword is pretty cool. Defias? So this is super aggressive, but against control decks I'll lose immediately. So it's Defias. Okay. Defias can be really good, I mean, but I just have one problem with it, and that's fuck it. Like, if I don't go second, it's a 2/2 for 2. Sprint is really good for the late game. Betrayal can be really good board clear, which rogues struggle with. And a Nubar Ambusher is the best stats for a 4-mana minion. Although it has a slight downside. But the slight downside can most often be mitigated by playing correctly. But if I want to play with a low curve deck, it's not going to always be mitigated. So therefore, a Nubar immediately goes out of my draft. Betrayal is really, really good, but it's really, really good in very specific situations, so I'm going to take Sprint. Because if I get to the end game, Sprint will just win me the game. Spider Tank is the most solid out of those. Amani Berserker, Stormwind Knight. So I can't enrage my own Amani Berserker, but the Stormwind Knight is also going to be only 2 damage. But I also don't actually have any minions on 4. I think this is a very uninspiring 2-drop, and that there are enough other 2-drops that I'm going to instantly pick, like the Goblin Auto Barber, like more Haunted Creepers, like more Knife Jugglers, more Defias Ringleaders. There's more 2-drops that I'll instantly pick than there are 4-drops that I'll instantly pick in a Rogue deck, so I'll take the 4-drop that has a fair amount of value. Bomb Lobber, I love it, it's just such a good card. South Sea Deckhand is most often going to be a 1-drop, which has 2/1 charge. So it's like it's a cheaper version of Bluegill Warrior. But Sen'jin Shieldmaster is really good anti-aggression, and if I'm going to be playing early, especially with cards that stick on the board early, like the Scarlet Crusader and the Spider Tank, would get sent back to my hand after my opponent uses whatever they have on their 4 mana to remove my Anuba, setting the tempo back drastically, and then I have to play a 3 out of position, unless I have another 2, yeah, okay, right. Anuba, never. Sen'jin, yes. It's the proper anti-aggression play, and considering we are playing in an aggression deck, I could take Sea Giant. Now, the reason I'd take Sea Giant is because Haunted Creeper is going to spawn more dudes. My opponent's likely to have a lot of dudes. Sea Giant, I'd likely be able to cast. If my opponent has one singular big target, Sabotage is better. But if they have many smaller, Sea Giant's better. I feel like I'm going to fight many smaller more often. Card draw or one of the best 4-drops. Since I only actually have 2, minions on 4, I'll take the Dark Iron Dwarf because it has really solid stats for its positioning. I'm actually going to take the Clockwork Gnome. Now, it has increased value in the current deck that I'm playing, and the reason it has increased value is because the Clockwork Gnome, not only giving me a spare part, which I can use in a bunch of really cool ways in a aggressive rogue matchup, it also has this really cool effect where it's 1 mana, so it can set up a bunch of combos if I get combo cards. Whereas if I have, very expensive things like the SI7 agent, which are almost always an auto pick, 3/3 for 3, if you combo it out, do 2 directed damage. While that's almost always an amazing card, if I don't have anything to combo into it and I can't play it on turn 3, it's suddenly way worse. I'm feeling like a Noyatron might actually be good. Because it'll block things most often until I get to kill it with either my dagger or protect my knife juggler. Okay, I'll try it. Ooh, Mech Warper. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's enough mechs to actually take a Mech Warper, especially considering I already have 2 Tinker's Sharp Swords and this is a very uninspiring card. I'm just going to use the word uninspiring as often as I can because it's an inspiring word. This is a 3-drop. I desperately need 3 drops. This is the worst 3-drop ever. Fuck that 3-drop. So I'm going to take the Iron Beak out just in case I want to silence something. Goblin Auto Barber. Told you I was going to take it. Assassinate for large dude removal. Oh, baby! Okay, so Fugan has beautiful distribution of stats. But if the Black Knight hits something, it kills it. Right? So the Black Knight is 2 mana more expensive than a Yeti. It has Yeti stats. But if it hits something with Taunt, I'm going to basically flip the game. Gruul is just straight up out of the picture. It's too late, and it's got too low early stats to be good late. The only time Gruul is really important and goes out of control, almost any other card would have gone even more out of control. I think it's Fugan. In fact, I'm gonna be really sad if I take Black Knight and I don't hit anything. How popular is Taunt gonna be? I mean, Black Knight even hitting an Annoyatron is enough. I am so cut about this decision. 4/7. I've got 2 buff cards. Alright. I'm taking the 4/7 because it has a larger health pool. Can be cast earlier, but also because I have 2 buff cards, the Tinker's Sharp Swords, so I'll be able to, well, likely be able to use it in such a way that I can, knock things a little bit around. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mechs in my early game. Cogmaster could be a good choice for me. So I'll take it. 1, 2, 3. So I've still only got 3 minions on 4, so the Lost Tall Strider is okay. I really do want some 3-drops. Shadow Bomber is going to be anti-synergistic. If I have out the Clockwork Gnome, it'll kill it. It'll kill the Divine Shield of the Annoyatron. It'll kill one of the Defias Ringleaders. It has chances to kill my Cogmaster and my Goblin Auto Barber. Iron Beak Owl dies to it. It's actually so anti-synergistic that I don't want to take it. Do I take Sprint again? So the second sprint is horrible. It is so much worse than the first. I have enough 2-drops and 1-drops that Fairy Dragon is no longer a decision I want to make. I could trade a lot of them and draw a lot of cards with the Cult Master, but the Eviscerate is more often going to be useful. Assassin's Blade. Assassin's Blade. I have 2 ways to fucking make it a 6/4 weapon. Assassin's Blade. Fan of Knives, I need it. It's a 3-drop and it'll help me clear the early board, which is super important. Sludge Belcher is the best card that I've been offered very recently. Darkscale Healer, I think, will actively be worse than Dark Iron Dwarf in the majority of situations, so Dark Iron Dwarf, even though Darkscale Healer fits my curve more, but then it came up again, so don't have to worry. And a Petition's Blade to round out my weapons. So think about our mech synergy early. We've got a 1 mana mech, a 1 mana minion that's going to have more damage with mechs. Then I've got an Annoyatron, a Goblin Auto Barber, a Mech Warper, a Spider Tank, and then no mechs for the rest of the game, right? Right. So I want to keep as many of my mechs as I can early because my mechs are going to be just an absurd opening for me, even if I don't have the Mech Warper pushing them out. Petition's Blade is another key card that I want to keep early, but the problem is I'm very unlikely to get out the combo on that. It would mostly just be there to be a 5 damage weapon in case of Tinker's Sharpsword Oil. Tinker's Sharpsword Oil, of course, I just want to basically have hit my Assassin's Blade. So if I got 2 Tinker's Sharpswords on it, that's a 9/4 weapon, so I can do a total of 36 damage over 4 turns. Unlikely to happen, but still. It would, there would be developments in R&D. So, Dark Iron Dwarf, pretty good considering the amount of early plays I have. You know what, this is a very solid deck and I would be very depressed to go less than 7 wins with it. So that is my prediction, 7 wins. What are my downsides? I mean, I do have only 2 Ascension Shieldmaster and a Sludge Belcher. I do only have 2 taunts in the... Well, I also have the Annoyatron. 3 taunts in the deck. So the amount of damage I'm going to be taking to my face, especially if I'm going to be using my weapon with kind of like reckless disregard, the amount of damage I'm going to be taking to my face is going to be absurd and a little risky. I'm actually going to throw back the Scarlet Crusader because getting a mech is so important with this. But it's going to be so... like that could really, really harm me. So if my opponent plays nothing on the first turn, then I'm probably going to win.
Greetings, traveler.
The pleasure is
And we win. So I coin the Mech Warper. The only response my opponent can make this turn to kill the Mech Warper would be Arcane Shot, or you know, 3 hits on it from a thingy being played. Whatchamacallit. There we go. I am so articulate. A thingy, a whatchamacallit. Good work, Ryan.
Thank you.
Mech Warper, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait until you get nerfed. Eviscerate hit? Hit? No, this is super important to have around with 4 health.
I wonder.
That's Eviscerate hit. And Reversing Switch. Okay. Reversing Switch is actually interesting. With Reversing Switch, I can use 5 mana and 2 cards to make the Stormwind Knight a 5/2 charge. That's fine, I wasn't going to be doing anything with that anyway. So it's my hope that my opponent develops a big card this turn, because if it's just 1 big card, I assassinate it, keep going for the face, my opponent is left with 11 health, and then I can think about seriously just going for the face the entire time. And that's literally exactly what I asked for. I have lethal, by the way.
Are you ready for this?
Stormwind, flip it, win. This is insane. Stormwind, flip it. Win the game. Well played.
Well played.
See, I mean, I feel a little bad for that guy. But at the same rate, I totally don't. Not even slightly. Oh, baby. That was an absurd opening, and my hope is to replicate that opening as many times as possible and realize when Ruthless Aggression is no longer going to win me the game. So think I get to turn 4, 6, or 7 against a mage. I need to know, okay, I need to hold a card back or play something with Divine Shield so that I'm safe against Cone of Cold, Blizzard, Flame Strike, etc. I need to do the same thing against Paladins with Consecration, same thing against, so on turn 4, same things against Druids on turn 4 with Swipe. The rest, I don't think I will play around Starfall, but then again, if I'm not playing around Starfall, because Starfall is a rare, why would I play around Blizzard? Blizzard is also a rare. So I might play around Starfall as well. I think I can afford to, especially with 2 sprints in the end of my deck. There's going to be a large amount of opportunities for me to just push out enough aggression late to finish the game.
Watch your back.
This is horrible, but I have enough early drops that I'm almost guaranteed to get at least a 1 or a 2. Of course, almost guaranteed doesn't mean anything. So my opponent plays nothing on turn 1, hopefully. Nope. Coin something out. Excellent. So the Mech Warper is most likely just going to be killed by whatever he plays.
Powering up. Portals online.
Now I get to suck shit as a result of the kind of stuff that happened last game.
Portals online.
Is this the penance I have to pay? Now my opponent summons... I mean, they coined it out, so there's the Spider Tank, of course. I remember back in my day...
Here we go.
I'm setting myself up for slightly efficient removal of this. If a taunt is not summoned, the Spider Tank kills this, hopefully. The Spider Tank can go for my face, I'll still attack it. But it goes down to 2, and then the Stormwind Knight manages to remove it while developing a 2/2 body on the field. Is the Ogre Brute worth killing, rather? Let's think about that for a second. I think it is. Because I'm not... Most of the time, I'm not going to have something on the field. And my opponent has shown no super large ability to deal 1 damage. I mean, they would have done it last turn to remove the threat. Would they?
Target acquired.
Oh. Interesting. I'm fucked.
For the crusade! Here we go.
This is our town, scrub.
So I'm gonna run cards out. If my opponent continues his aggression, or her aggression, sorry, their aggression, I'm gonna play the Sea Giant immediately. It sucks to be on the receiving end of this. Let's just say that. It's not that fun. If I draw a combo trigger, there is a chance I might just Tinker's Sharpsword and try and save myself that way. So that would be Annoyatron, Tinker's Sharpsword. I need the power not to hit the Annoyatron. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. I can remove all of the stuff on my opponent's board except for the... Oh, actually, if it hits the Spider Tank, I'm happy. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, so that goes there. Now I play the Annoyatron, then the Tinker's Sharpsword. Please. Fine, it hit that. That's cool. Now I use that to remove this. And I remove his minion. So my health is in a horrible position, but I have a pretty strong board right now. I mean, the one thing that is doing the most damage is protected, so it looks like, without any Oh! Cobra! Uh-oh. Without any larger interference, I was going to be able to get a lot of stuff happening there. I need to develop a board, so... Can I afford to hold the weapon?
Here
No.
we go.
Nope, I can't afford to hold that weapon. If I hold that weapon, I'm saying, look, I have a weapon charge ready to use against a minion? What am I gonna do? Hit a fucking minion? I'll lose if I hit a minion. And I don't have any heal in my deck.
Hurry up. Portals
All my
online.
opponent has to do is like hero power for a number of turns and then I lose the game. So I need to focus on not letting them do that, basically. So I need my biggest threat out this turn. Right. So... This goes out immediately. These two kill this, getting me a... Only losing one minion from the board. But...
Here we go.
If I sprint into Eviscerate, that's going to be a 4, 5, 10, 19. I can do 19 damage next turn. So I just need not to take face damage. Fine. That is the middle target for being hit. That was the worst outcome. There's... Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different outcomes there. This becoming a 1-1, this becoming a 5-5, this becoming a 1-1, this becoming a 5-5. That was literally the worst outcome that could have happened. I just want you to know that. Because I'm thinking about how I'm going to remove the Tinkmaster Overspark and still have enough damage to do lethal at any point. I actually don't think it's possible. I think the Tinkmaster Overspark hitting my 8-8 won the game. Let's think about it. By the way, rewinding it will just give me a squirrel. So I sprint, I get Eviscerate, I hit that, and then I have, what, 3 repetitive damage on the field? I lose next turn. Well, not next turn, the turn after next turn. I Sludge Belcher,
Too soon.
and just go for the face. That's the only play that would result possibly in victory. But if I do that, I still lose because I just don't have enough damage to constantly push.
Here we go.
Yeah, I lose. There is no way for me to deal 24 damage next turn. Which means that a deadly shot this turn, doesn't matter if my opponent has lethal this turn, that just happens. But a deadly shot this turn means that... Sorry, a steady shot means that next turn steady shot kills me because I don't have any heal in my deck.
You call that a weapon? Huh.
Excellent. I do that, and then I do that. Well played. 1-1. Sometimes, other times, you'll never know. I mean, we did it to someone else, so it's only fair that it happens to us, but I felt like we were in a good enough position to crawl back into that game. And then... Tinkmaster Overspark for a 7-7 debuff. No longer could do a DPS race, which just meant we immediately lost.
Versus.
Is this the 3rd Hunter in a row? It is, actually. I'm not asking, I'm telling.
Watch back.
I can't rely on the Hunter having enough cheap stuff, or me not having enough cheap stuff to combat his cheap stuff for me to keep Fan of Knives. Annoytron is fine, Clockwork Goblin is also fine. I have the coin though, so Petition's Blade is actually quite inspiring. I might be able to use it with its combo to remove something immediately and then remove something else immediately, which would seize me board control, especially considering I'm going to be playing a Clockwork Gnome on turn 1 and my opponent, majority of the time, is not going to be playing anything on turn 1. So that's my Clockwork Gnome.
Ready.
So refreshing. This unidentified energy drink. That's the correct play. The problem is developing Petition's Blade this turn actually isn't helpful. Because I can't hit anything with the Petition's Blade, it's just like a 3 mana, 2 damage nuke. And then I just hold the weapon. Summon Knife Juggler in that attack. Okay. And the reason that's fine is because it means that I can use the Annoyatron to protect the Knife Juggler, also to trigger a hit from the Knife Juggler. Oh, shit. Hey, it's a 2 mana creature, and that's a 3 mana spell that could have hit my face. That is a severe trade up. This is so good with this. I really want to keep it for that. How wrong would it be to dagger and pass this turn? What about Annoyatron, dagger, pass? Annoyatron, nothing pass? Annoyatron, nothing pass. Okay. So this leaves me with the option of killing anything with 3 or less health very easily. Like that. Actually, so I coin this out, it hits this. And then this hits as well. Ha ha ha! Fuck! Piece of shit. Great, now I left it. It's one of the only minions I couldn't immediately kill. Because it has stealth, so I can't even attack it. Now that kind of nullifies my play. I wanted to have the Goblin Autobobber out. Especially if it was going to be a 2-3. If it was like the Crocolisk. That's really bad for me. Because the Stampeding Kodo trades evenly with the Bomb Lobber.
Here we go.
Alright, I'll keep the Bomb Lobber then. I mean, I can't devalue my Bomb Lobber in that fashion. I've got a Goblin Autobobber for Assassin's Blade, that's kind of cool. Could reversing switch my Darkscale Healer after an attack to make a 2-4 rather than a 4-2.
I wonder.
That could be worth my while. Could be. Just don't want to see Steam Weedle or anything like that.
Silvermoon shall not fall.
Not a Steam Weedle last I checked. I can't remove both. Oh! I can! Anyone want to tell me how? Reversing switch. My own creature. Removing this. Attack this to break the shield, and then Bomb Lob for the removal. Which Also, incidentally, makes use of my weapon, which means that the next turn, which is going to be Assassin's Blade Goblin Auto Barber, is going to be super effective, because I wasn't holding a weapon at the time of playing it. Oh! I may need a chisel to remove my underwear. That's so gross.
Here we go. I can't do this.
And now we're super ahead. Those... I feel like I'm playing well, even in the game I lost. It was just looking far enough ahead and looking at all of the possibilities to make sure that there wasn't a way, even though there was, for me to basically push myself into the lead. Okay, so I currently hold 15 damage. If I ignore this, I have a possibility of dying. It's small, but there's a possibility I die, because I just get, like, you know, kill command
Many options.
plus attack is a total of 11, hero power, and, you know, then I'm on 2. Alright.
Where shall I strike?
Here we go.
I will waste that hit there. I feel like sprint is really good, but it's not as good as actually developing my board in this situation. Especially because there's no card, because I have used the Clockwork Gnome and I have used the Cogmaster. There's no card I would be able to play after sprinting, but this sets me up for sprint Eviscerate, or sprint 2-drop, or if my opponent populates his board, his or her board, their board, sprint Sea Giant. They would have to play a lot for Sea Giant to be a reality, but, you know.
Are you ready for this?
Okay. I'm moderately ready for this. I'm prepared in some sort of a fashion for this. Ooh. Do I remove again? So removal would look like that hits that. I buff this, it hits that, and then I hit it with myself.
I wonder.
I can't hit it with myself. If I hit it with myself, I'm gonna lose. You know what? My health is so precious that I'm gonna do this. I know how much I'm trading down here. I'm aware.
Here we go.
I'm also aware of the fact that if I put myself down much at all, I can instantly lose. Hunters can do that to you. That's a charge minion. That was also held in the left side of the hand. So, yeah, our whole board would have been removed. Oh, there's no reason not to sprint. Our whole board would have been removed if I left the 6/5, the Savannah Highman on the field. Okay. So... is there a way where I can remove all of these? No. So I like, let's think about it like this. I have a total of 14 damage, and there is a total of... wait, how much health? 13 health. I should be able to remove, right? Oh no, because it's an increment of 4 and 4 and 4. Right, so I can't.
So many.
The most reliable removal of damage would be attack here. Then this, attack, attack.
Here we go.
Oh, right, I used Eviscerate. I was wondering, hang on, didn't I have enough mana to use my spider tank here?
You call that a weapon? Tanalingo!
Here we go.
I have 12 damage currently on board. Opponent has 13 health.
The light compels you.
I draw damage, I win. Although that also requires my opponent not to get a taunt minion from this. I draw 1 damage, I'll win the game. Tinker's Sharpsword. Tinker's Sharpsword off the top deck. Come on. Come to me. I've played no Tinker's Sharpswords this game. Come on. I'm making the hand motion. Come on, just pass the turn to me, allow me to draw the card, and then win the game. Or concede. I mean, 4, 4, 3, plus 1. So 4, 4, 4, 12. You are not dead yet.
Quickly.
You will be soon. Ah, excellent. Rope meta. Welcome back, Rope meta. Haven't seen you in a very long time. Looking good as ever. That doesn't do it, but it almost entirely secures it.
Here we go.
Kill command and Cobra shot immediately win the game for my opponent. Any 3 or more directed damage will win the game for my opponent immediately, because they use their hero power to finish me off. So I'm effectively on 3 health, and my opponent has 8 mana to cause 3 damage. Oh, it's gonna be one of those. See, the opponent roped last turn, which means that they've interacted with the game since, otherwise it would immediately put them on rope this turn. So they're just trolling me, basically. Have I ever shown you I've got one of these figures of Ash that a friend gave to me? It's quite cool. I wanna do that as my Halloween costume one year. I've done like Mafioso, well, Mafioso Snitch, right? So, someone who's basically been shot to oblivion. I've done Booker DeWitt, I've done a few other ones. They're all real cool, but Ash from The Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, that'd be really cool, I feel. Oh, by the way, if we get killed as the rope is like just about to pass out, I'm gonna be salted.
Well played.
Yo, just cause they being a dick don't mean I gotta be a dick, know what I'm saying? 2-1. And there, they say well played at the very end. Swat Lord. Oh hey, we got a Golden Assassinate. To pay homage to the card that did basically nothing for us that round. So as soon as we get to, I think 3-1, 4-1... I'm gonna say 4-1, no, 3-1. As soon as we get to 3-1, I'll cut to a part 2. And then when we get to 7-1, I'll cut to a part 3. And then I'll just play the rest of the matches until I get to 12-1 in part 4.
I will fight with honor.
What do you mean I'm getting a little ahead of myself?
Back.
Excellent. Haunted Creeper is amazing, especially against Muster.
I smell blood.
Because no matter what my opponent does as a response, I have a really good response to
Reporting for
theirs.
duty.
I don't even need to save the 1 mana with the Mech Warper. Oh, no, no, no. This works. I develop a dagger this turn, which is going to basically sit there for a while. Muster for battle. Then I'll have a 1. I'll kill 2 of them immediately.
Reporting for duty.
Excellent. Boom. Bam. Pop.
Go.
You have to consecrate and attack with the Worgen Infiltrator in order to remove this. And then you actually create a better board for me with a 1-1, a 1-1, and a 2-1.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, baby. That's actually protecting at the moment, so I'll play the Lost Tall Strider, because the Lost Tall Strider is very weak against an opponent with True Silver Champion, but I currently have a Taunt out that also has Divine Shield, so hopefully my opponent doesn't like Blood Knight or anything like that.
TC 130 into dislocator.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah. Whatever.
Put this apple on your head.
Go, my pretty little daggers.
Here we go.
Weapon to remove. So that I have to worry less about the possibility of Consecrate. Because that's a Consecrate. So the Consecration happens. I mean, my response is pretty obvious. I just Sentient Shield Master and keep going for the face.
Reporting for duty.
No, too hopeful.
Tadingo.
Here we go.
What I wanted to do there was Assassin's Blade, and this is the one I was thinking about. Assassin's Blade, Goblin Auto Barber. And then I would just attack the face for 4 damage each turn. And then over a total of 4 turns, that would put out a total of 16 damage, right? And then, yay! But that's actually just an atrocious plan. It's interesting to note that my opponent is still 1 mana short of being able to True Silver Champion here and then Consecrate. Should I have played around Mind Control Tech that early when my opponent was playing that passively?
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Do you need a blessing?
Do you want to have a blessing? Doesn't have to be a blessing. That works pretty effectively. Okay, so currently I have a total of 4 plus 2 plus 3. So that's a total of 9 damage they can do to the face this turn. Alternatively, I Goblin Auto Barber first. Is this correct? Because I'm going to Bomb Lobber, so yes, it's correct. So I Goblin Auto Barber first. I attack in here. This attacks here, this attacks here, and then I Bomb Lobber for the removal. I guess I Cogmaster as well. Because Consecration still removes... Well, Consecration removes 2 targets now. But it would have happened last turn anyway.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
So my opponent just has a defensive fucking deck. Their deck's so defensive, bro. I feel like removal, like direct removal is correct.
Mistakes were made.
The Goblin Auto Barber was the only reason the Cogmaster was doing 3 damage. And since I sacrificed the Goblin Auto Barber first, The Cogmaster only did 1 damage. Meaning I now have to take 2 damage to remove that and also lose a creature.
Here we go.
I am so dumb. That's probably going to lose me the game. Yeah. Because my 2 weapon was to kill the slime, which would have meant that one of these had to trade against...
Reporting for duty.
This,
You gotta be kidding me!
this is so bad.
Here we go. For the crusade!
I guess I need to outbuild my opponent and just rush for their face. I also need to top deck a sprint into like 2 Tinkers, and then play 2 Tinkers in a single turn, and then attack the face with my weapon for damage.
Reporting for duty.
You gotta be kidding me!
The whole point of leaving the Venture Mercenary alive is to make it so drastically difficult for my opponent to actually do anything. But now... funny story. Now my opponent has lethal on the board.
Join or die.
Not good, not good.
That trades against this too effectively, so I actually have to remove it. If I remove it with... No, it doesn't matter, so I do that.
Here we go.
And then it's so desperate I actually need to get another minion out, so I'll just silence my own dude. And 7 damage from losing, so... Blessed Champion does it. Hey, that doubles the attack power of something, so... Okay. Consecration loses me the game immediately. It's possible that loses him the game, playing the zombie chow. Oh no, I just totally have lethal. By the way, well played.
Well played.
Join or die.
The reason I'm salted is not because of my opponent, but because I fucked up and it almost cost me the game. Like, it straight up should have cost me the game. Anyhow. Let's just desalinate. Don't even need to be salty, I won anyway. My name is, no, wait, I'm not ending the fucking What am I doing with my life? Seriously, what are any of us doing with our life? This is actually, this has been a 760 something episode setup for me just to ask you, what are you doing with your life? This is a seminar. We need to talk. This is an intervention, actually. You specifically, Jamie. What? Sorry, that's only gonna make sense to one person. Unless there are multiple people named Jamie. I don't know. Anyhow, you'll be able to see part 2 in the description down below. Hope to see you there.